I won't remember the majority of my life. That doesn't really feel true when you first say it, but the more you think about it, there are just far too many details and small, beautiful moments every day that it would just be impossible to remember it all. That's both a great reminder to remain present every day and also a really good reminder to find ways to protect the memories that are most important to you. My family's been pretty deeply affected by dementia and Alzheimer's disease, which is such a cruel sickness. It's caused me to think about it a lot and do some research on it, and it's led me to my own method to help protect some of the memories that are most important to me. Obviously, memory is ridiculously complex. It's not like there's one tool or method that'll just help you remember everything perfectly. But it doesn't hurt to just have as many tools as possible for remembering your life. And since we're all so used to taking photos and videos of everything, I wanted to present a different approach. So I'll share my method in just a bit for how I do this, but I figured first it would be helpful to provide some context. I've found that I just take tons of photos of pretty insignificant things. Part of that's just the art of photography, and it's fun and it's good practice, but then when I want to go back to look on photos to reminisce, it makes it so much more difficult when I have to go through this massive stream of photos. Research has actually been done on the brain while taking photos, and it's shown that when you're taking photos of experiences, your visual memory is heightened, but it's actually kind of restricting all of the other senses. So you're not paying as much attention to the sounds and smells and the feelings around you, which is unfortunate because it turns out that our sense of smell and touch and sound are all more strongly linked to memory than our sense of sight. So maybe video is better, because then in that case you at least have the visual paired with the audio, and since we can't capture smell or touch on camera, it's about as good as you can get, right? Well, there's still a major problem. In my experience, some of your strongest memories, the things that you'll want to remember the most later in life, aren't necessarily things that you'll capture with a photo or a video. And this is coming from someone whose life revolves around video and carries a camera around with him every day. But you're just not gonna record certain things. You're not gonna record yourself laying in bed the first night that you've moved across the country or moved out of your parents' home. And you're definitely not gonna record your first kiss. And you're not gonna record some of the bad memories and the sad memories that maybe in that moment you don't think you're gonna wanna remember that time, but in the future you realize that that was a really pivotal moment for you and developed who you are now. For moments like these, I don't know that a photo or video is really what I want. I'm not so interested in what the scene looked like around me so much as I want to remember what it felt like in that moment. Which, that's a great segue to talk about the difference between implicit memory and explicit memory. Now, I know this is getting a little technical and jumbled, but I promise this is going somewhere really cool, so just stick with me. Explicit memory is basically just hard facts. It's the things you learn in school. It's names and dates and numbers and details. Whereas implicit memory is more unconscious. It's more centered around emotions and feelings. And from what I've found looking into this, Alzheimer's and dementia affect explicit memories long before they affect implicit memories. The implicit memories are far more robust. So what is arguably the most powerful connection that we have to our emotions? I think it's music. There's this documentary called Alive Inside that demonstrates this so powerfully. Like, I highly recommend you watch it, but even if you don't watch the whole thing, there's one clip from it in particular that is so incredibly powerful. There's this man named Henry who's in a memory care nursing home, and when they first start talking to him, he is hardly responsive. He's hunched over, he doesn't make eye contact, he can hardly even form a sentence when talking to people, when talking to his daughter. And this documentary came out right around the time that iPods were becoming a thing, and so the nurse puts some headphones on Henry and plays a song from his childhood. And the way that Henry just lights up when the music is playing is unbelievably powerful. He starts dancing and singing along. You just see the life go back into this guy. And after they take the headphones off of him, even once the music isn't playing anymore, they ask him questions and he's able to answer so coherently and recall details. And they even ask him his favorite song, and he sings word for word his favorite song. So, like I said, that documentary is very worth the watch. It really powerfully demonstrates the connection between music and memory. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes of all time. People won't remember what you said or did. They'll remember how you made them feel. So before I explain my method for remembering my life, it's a good chance to take a break and mention the sponsor of this video, which is Musicbed. And even if you already know about Musicbed, don't skip ahead, because this isn't just an ad for their music service, it's an announcement about the Musicbed challenge. This is such a cool challenge to make the film that you've been dreaming to make. There's 3 different categories. You can make a documentary, a narrative, or a spec ad. And there's gonna be like $100,000 worth of grants and prizes. Last week I made a video about setting deadlines for yourself and how hard it is to meet your personal deadlines. This is a great way to put an external deadline on yourself to finally get that dream film made that you've been wanting to create. So I'll leave a link in the description below that has all of the details to get a starter kit and everything else you need to know to enter. So my method to remember my life, and especially how I felt in certain memories, is to keep a song journal, which I know probably sounds so lame and simple. And it is really simple, but it's also been so powerful for me. Throughout my life, I have so many memories that are completely undocumented, but there was a song playing or a song from that period of my life that's so attached to that memory that all it takes is me listening to that song and it brings me right back to that moment in time. So I will just keep a spreadsheet with a column for date, song name, artist name, and then a little description of the memory that's associated with the song. And there are a couple reasons why I think this is super important and really powerful. For one, it's just really hard to remember off the top of your head all of the songs from your past that are associated with memories, because those are explicit details. A song name and an artist name is an explicit detail. So if you can just get those out of your head and into a spreadsheet, then in the future, you're able to open this spreadsheet, find a memory, and if you play that song, it allows your implicit memory to take over and just recall all of these details from your past. And as an added bonus, if you did happen to have a memory where you were taking photos and videos, you can then go to that date in Google Photos or your Apple Photo Stream, whatever, and pull up photos from that same time period. So then at that point, you just have the whole package. It may as well be a time machine. So that's it. Like I said, it's super simple, but I haven't known anyone else that does this, so I wanted to share it. If you have any unique ways that you remember memories or any thoughts on this, I'd love to hear your opinions, because I really appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. So thanks for watching.